Hello and welcome to the No Structure Podcast. My name is Matt, and with me today is Sus Edwards. Sus, how are you doing?
Doing really well, man. Happy to be drafting. It is getting not just warm, it's getting hot out. So time to bunker down inside, crank up that AC, and fire off some puppies. How are you feeling about all
Heck
that?
yeah. I like where your head's at. We'll do just that today. We'll go ahead and do a couple puppies for you guys on today's episode. I'm going to go ahead and put us into one right now so it can start filling, and then we can get the sponsors and where you can find us, some of the admin stuff out of the way real quick, and then we'll jump into these drafts. So real quick, I just want to let you guys know that today's episode is sponsored by Fantasy Fitness. Are you guys ready to dominate your fantasy football leagues? If so, check out Fantasy Fitness. Whether you play best ball, redraft, or dynasty, it doesn't matter. Fantasy Fitness is here to help. They have all the latest fantasy news, player and team metrics. You can integrate your rosters if you're playing on Sleeper, FFPC, or Yahoo, where you can track individual player notes and lessons learned. Use that trade analyzer and the AI roster evaluation tools and a whole bunch more. Building out a whole section for best ball as well. So go ahead and check out Fantasy Fitness at www.fantasyfitness.io. And do you guys own or manage rent? Do you guys own a home or own and manage rental properties and struggle to find good quality tenants, collect rent on time, or track maintenance issues and expenses? If so, you're going to want to check out Property Hub. Property Hub is an industry-leading, mobile-friendly property management app that makes property management simple. Whether you just want help tracking maintenance issues and expenses for your own personal property, or you need help with auto-pay rent collection, tracking maintenance issues and expenses on your rental properties, e-signing your lease, and a whole bunch more, Property Hub is a game changer. Don't believe me? Try it for free for 30 days and decide for yourself. Get started at www.heypropertyhub.com. I find that to be a good way to fill that time.
And here we are, man. Whew.
Yeah, got to get those in. All right, we are up and running. We got the.
We might actually be cross streaming with Whohames. I think that's how that filled so fast.
That could be kind of fun. We got ourselves in the 8-hole here, so it's a good spot for St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. You have a preference between either of those two, assuming that that's kind of what's left for us?
I like Amon-Ra a lot. I feel like it's a very clear top 8 to me. I mean, I'm fading McCaffrey a little bit, but he belongs in that top 8 for sure. So I feel like if I'm in the top 8, I'm taking one of those top 8 every single time. Kind of an ADP order. Maybe if we get some more unique prices later in the summer, we could do some pulling up or down. But yeah, JT or Amon-Ra would be it for me here.
For sure. I'm right there with you. Well, we have our Amon-Ra St. Brown waiting for us, so we'll go ahead and snap him up and take a look at the board. Real quick, you guys can find us on YouTube at Fantasy Fitness IO, or follow us on X at Fantasy Fit IO. And Sus, what's your channel's handle on YouTube and X?
I want to say on YouTube it's just Sus Edwards Fantasy, like FF or something. But if you type in Sus Edwards,
okay,
the one and only, it pops up. So if you guys want to check out, I've been doing some streams lately, getting back in the drafters streets. So excited, man. Going to try to do a lot more season-long stuff. I feel like it optimizes my edge a little bit, a little less pod luck reliance, a little more lean into the player takes. And you draft a little bit differently if you go the season-long route, but it's fun, and it feels a little less variance-based. So
awesome. Love it.
Rashi at the 13. Ooh,
yeah.
hot.
It's a little rich for my blood. I'm not gonna lie.
Saquon pushing up the board a good bit. He used to fall to like 20 pre-draft sometimes. I think those days seem long gone, but I would be down with one of these running backs if you wanted, and really any of the next 5. Do you have a favorite?
I mean, Saquon would be my favorite. If he falls to us, I would snap him up for sure. Figured he would go. I'm fine with any of these other ones. We could take a little bit of a fall on Achane, or we could go Henry or Chase. I like Chase here probably too. What do you like?
I don't get a lot of Achane, and I kind of like getting in uniquely. So if we're gonna do it, might as well do it here. I feel like.
I like that approach. Yeah, that's kind of how I've been treating him, with just kind of, you know, the situation down there in Miami being what it is. It's kind of like I'm not going out of my way to get him, but if he falls, then yeah, this is perfect. And we have an anchor with St. Brown. I feel like that's like a nice combo.
He feels a little Breece Hall-y to me. I know Achane's a better player than Breece Hall, but like Breece Hall we thought was a really good, 1-2 turn type player, and then the Jets became the Jets, and he's now a 3-4 turn pick. Aren't the Dolphins without McDaniel kind of like a Jets, tier situation? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm also worried about Malik Willis not checking down a ton compared to Tua, who's like the check down king. And then you have a 190-pound running back. How much more work can he take on? But at the end of the day, he's so talented. I don't want to, box myself out of a guy who can, like, in spite of a situation, get there, So 17.
Yeah, and I mean, fun. his singles same side to could just get it in like that 1 week where you need him. I mean, he could help get you, just help you like hang on. He wouldn't be ideal. Right. Probably going to be on one of those teams where it's like you barely get in, but then when you need him most, then he can give you 35 points or something. It's like he can be there for that. 100%. So he can win you a tournament in that respect, in like a 1 week tournament,
I don't know how you feel about Malik Willis, but I'm kind of intrigued. I mean, it was a limited sample last year, but he was pretty efficient. And honestly, it's cheap to stack up that offense where you just make a bet that, hey, the market's saying it's not going to be a productive offense. What if it is? And then you just rising tide lifts all boats type of deal.
Yeah, I think if I was going to get Willis on a draft, it would probably be with like Achane, just like that stack would be sort of the scenario where I would engage.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a nice fall on. That's a nice fall on Jeremiah Love. I haven't been doing a lot of, underdog watching, so interesting to see him go there.
Yeah, that is a good price. He has been kind of hovering around this 2-3 turns, so that's definitely a fall for him.
So now that AJ Brown goes, feels like an interesting range. Do you like Devontae Smith, Olave, any of these receivers?
I would probably be Olave or Breece Hall. How about you between those two?
Let's go Olave.
Okay.
I think he's a hell of a player. Just, sure, they add a Tyson, but does that really take away from Chris Olave? Is Chris Olave not going to get the ball? No, he's going to get the ball. Tyson just kind of consolidates away from the Velays and the, maybe even Juwan Johnson a bit, but Olave is Olave. He is the focal point of that offense.
Yeah. If anything, I think Tyson could help the offense just generally, right? More touchdowns, more, more red zone opportunities, things like that. So Mike Robb is in the house. Mike, welcome in. Sus locker stuffing 0. Maybe a little bit today. Shout out 0.
Many such cases. What's good, Mike Robb? Good to see you in here. Little fall on T, maybe one time. It's a pretty fun range, though, the board. How do you feel about Buck getting some decent coach speak, GM speak?
I would be good with him here. These guys are both, their profiles are a little interesting when you're sort of pairing them together in a sense because of just kind of their teams. It's almost, I almost wonder if it's like you go with more of like a Monty to get like a volume guy in a situation like this. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know if we can pass up on Zay Flowers here though, like falling to 40. I don't know. What do you like? Monty or Zay?
I would be Bucky.
Or Bucky? Okay, you want to go Bucky? Okay. Oh shoot.
Let's try. Okay. All right, we're
That's
getting
not what
interesting.
I that was a mistake on my apologies there. We
No
have to be a
worries.
little bit faster, I guess, on the you know, when you don't draft a lot with somebody, it's like you're still trying to kind of figure out each other's tendencies and stuff.
The 20-second clock sneak up on you. It's not
I
like
would
the old
I
days.
will say though, like those two profiles together, like it's an interesting pairing for me because Bucky feels a little fragile in his situation. I know he is the starter, but they brought in Gainwell. They still have like Tucker for like goal line, and he had that really good, you know, rookie year, and it feels like he's regressing to maybe, you know, like maybe more the player that he is, like a fourth rounder, you know, like maybe he just ran a little hot maybe that rookie year, and I don't know if this is maybe more the range where he belongs. I'm just talking out loud, you know, like
Yeah,
you can say what you want. Just putting some
I
thoughts
think
out there.
as the Bucky Bull, I would counter with and say even last year when he was hurt and not playing well at all, he still averaged 20 touches a game, including a lot of receiving work. So he got the true, you know, he got like an HN. He outpaced HN in touches per game, and then you get, you know, just not weird injury stuff. Tristan Wirfs is healthy again. Baker's shoulder isn't fucked up. Like just like everyone got hurt on that team. Mike Evans was hurt. Godwin was coming back. You know, even Igbuka McMillan was hurt. Igbuka got slowed down by the end of the year.
Yeah,
I feel there's a more healthy ecosystem coming. He was like a round 2 pick last year.
Gainwell, what do you like here? I'll get some names in the queue for us so we can.
I would say Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Christian Watson, any of those guys. I would say maybe try to scoop the ADP faller if there is one.
I like that. I think we'd get that on Adams or.
I would be Adams, I think. Capture some of that Rams production.
For sure. That seems like a pretty easy one for me too.
He just feels like a guy that, like, as long as he's healthy in the playoffs, like, isn't he going to be ranked as like a top 12 receiver most of the time?
Yeah.
And God forbid Puka gets hurt.
I know.
Then you're looking at like a round 1 in a given week type of player.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But just to put a bow on Bucky, I will admit it's fragile in terms of it was a weird situation because like he like had a bit of a mental crisis apparently, like with the injury. Like he was thinking about retiring, so that part is scary. I think they brought in Gainwell as insurance for that. But when Zach Robinson, the new Bucs OC, said Bucky is their Bijan in terms of the role. Now, of course, not the talent, but like just like how they view him as that lead back, 70% of the touches. I think that's how living here locally they talk about him, you know, on the beats and hearing the OC reaffirm that. So I like Montgomery too, big Montgomery fan, so I can go either way on that. But I want to reassure people who click Bucky, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, no, I am clicking him, just not. What do you like here? Do you want to take the fall on price, or do you like Hubbard or Marv or something else? Jaden? I'm up for whatever.
I would say Price or Tootin if you have a fave of those two.
I would probably lean into Price a little bit more.
Sounds good. Nice.
Yeah, I think for me, like I'm a huge Bucky fan too. I have him on a couple dynasty teams, and I have taken him in, you know, both post-draft or pre-draft and post-draft. I think I just worry about his health, like because of his size. It's nothing against him. It's just he's 80 something pounds, and he doesn't have like the same skill set that Achane has to like avoid contact. I don't think, like, he is twitchy and he's jukey, but I just like physically, I don't think he's like as gifted. So like, I wonder if it's just he has gotten the carries, but like over the course of an entire year, he has continued to get, or he has gotten injured. So I'm hopeful, but but I'm also like cautious, I guess is maybe the way I would describe Bucky, if that's fair.
That is fair. I think getting Tristan Wirfs back will help in the efficiency department. He didn't have a lot of running lanes to go last year, and I know he gets knocked for not having a lot of goal line carries, like But I went back and like looked at it. So he played like 3 or 4 games, I think, before getting hurt, and in that span, the entire team had 2 carries inside the 5. It's like, okay, Rachaad White happened to be in the game at that point. And then when he came back, they're like, all right, this dude's body has been like battered and his mind, like, let's take a little off his plate. So the rest of the year is like Sean Tucker at the goal line. Yeah. I think we're wiping the slate clean this year and we're saying, all right, Bucky, the whole team's behind you. The whole city's behind you. Lock in, buddy. But
okay. I like that. What do you like here with these upcoming picks? I mean, we could take, for me, it would be Drake May if we're going to take a quarterback, or I like Tucker. What do you like?
I'm down. There's some nice quarterback values, but I think since nothing really stacks and we have good, cheaper stacking partners on this team, would you be able to sort by like receiver or tight end? Do any of these names call out to you?
Tucker a lot, and he's ahead of schedule. That news just came out yesterday, so
okay,
easy for me to like grab him as like an elite towards the end of that tier. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, let's run it.
We also get some divisional, not that that's like, like that's just like cherry on top with like, a little bit of this, and Detroit, Green Bay, if that ends up being like a 15, 16, 17, you get a lot of those divisional games in those last 3, fantasy weeks. So that's just something there. And it opens us up to like a Love stack too.
Exactly.
Like you could get Reed and then you could get Love. Like that's something that I've done occasionally. So you get like a little double.
And that would, I love stacking like Goff with Amon-Ra, Stafford with Adams, Love with Kraft. So like,
right. Yeah, I would be good with that too. That's right there.
I would be Jordan Addison if we want to.
For sure.
I'm going to say it's to build out that division, but I also just do not believe in Parker Washington's ceiling case at all. I get even Chris Godwin is interesting.
Oh yeah. That would be it for Chris Godwin here. He'd be my next.
They were showing like some of the historical Zach Robinson stuff and like what they were doing with the Rams with Cooper Kupp, in the slot. Like the Falcons really didn't have a slot receiver, but you could argue Kyle Pitts got a lot of work there. Chris Godwin is a guy who I'm like, man, like the slot role for the Bucs has always been valuable. He seems healthy again. Why not just bet on a guy who we think is good? He's really good.
Yeah. If I'd probably be Godwin first, but I would also be okay with like Michael Wilson here too.
Okay. I'm a little worried about Wilson. Okay. He had some like when I dug into the splits with Marvin Harrison in games where Marvin Harrison played over 60% of the snaps. I think Michael Wilson had like 238 yards on the season or something. Where I was like, oh, okay. Now that wasn't a lot of games, so obviously I'm not saying Michael Wilson's going to have a 300-yard season, but it's to the point that like Marvin Harrison, I still think is the guy over him. Trey McBride is the guy, period, and Love is gonna get some work of his own. So I'm a little worried about Michael Wilson at this price. He showed he could play a lot, but I would like him to dip just a little bit more. Whereas I feel pretty good about Godwin.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like, when you're like maybe over on this side of the board and you can get him in I've seen him fall like late 90s and then that feels pretty good, not that price. And, you get to splitting hairs a little bit and it kind of depends on what you're trying to do with your build. But I'm with you. When he's falling, it feels better to scoop him up.
Yeah. I think like, come July, we're going to start getting some like 105, 110 Michael Wilson as the memory of the fall fades. Um, We're gonna get live for Goff,
Right. I'm
Stafford.
like Goff or Love or Stafford. I'm probably just for age, and the fact that this probably, I don't know, I'd be okay with any of the three, but I'd probably lean Goff or Love, but I'm okay with any of the three if you have a strong preference for one.
Yeah, I would lean Goff. I think when you have Amon-Ra going off for like his 30 ball, Goff correlates really strongly with that. And, you know, he could still throw another couple touchdowns to some expensive players that we don't have to have staffed because our Olave is beating out like a Jameson Williams, you know. So I would definitely do Goff.
I like that logic a lot. So that's an easy click. We get Goff. We'll get through this next pick, and then we'll recap the team for the audience, and then we will lock in for the last 7 rounds, so we can ship this.
If you're up for another quarterback, because it's a pretty sweet spot for values before hitting a cliff, and you know the stackability of Love, of Tyler Shuck, and Baker Mayfield. We have the next 4.
Yeah, I think this would be a wise spot to get our second, and then we can be done unless you get like a screaming value. I mean, we don't really have a stacking option later. You know, I guess you could get like a Higgins and then have like a Stroud if he falls into like the 150s or something and add some insurance. But at that point, you don't need it. This could be a 2 quarterback build, and then you're done, and you don't even have to think about it unless you find some cool value later, right? Like a Schultz, Higgins, Stroud stack or something, but it'd have to be kind of like a faller on Stroud or something like that to make it worth it.
Yeah, and then there's always like a guy who can just fall that can just give you the raw points. You know, sometimes you have a sick team, but you just wish you had that third quarterback for bye weeks, or like one guy gets hurt and you're like, oh, I wish I had a little bit more. You know, like Sam Sherman last year had 3 quarterbacks and 2 were not that good, but they dragged him there. I would say,
are you Baker?
How do you feel about Shuck? Honestly, what do you like backstacking more? There's Juwan.
I think backstacking, I like Shuck more because you can get like Juwan Johnson and.
All right, let's do Shuck.
Like a Kraft Juwan Johnson, you know, it's like you can get away with that in 18 rounds. You know what I mean? Like, you could, assuming you're treating Tucker as like an elite, right? I know he's coming back from injury, but in terms of his spike week upside and stuff like that, he's definitely closer to the elites, I would say. So you could get away with 2 if you got into a pinch, right, or you got boxed out. But you could always add a third, like a K. Dotton or a Freiermuth, or you know something, a Schultz. Sure. You know, because we could kind of consolidate a little bit on Houston, like I was saying. So yeah, there's all sorts of options there.
One other thing to throw at you as a potential stacking partner, mentioned it a little earlier, and I had forgotten, but it just came back to me. If we wanted to do a Dolphins, you know, Malik Willis, Achane, and one of their late receivers, they're 2 rookie receivers. The more I've dove into them, I'm kind of becoming a big fan of it. And just fading the Tutu Atwell, Jalen Tolbert, Malik Washington, with, you know, type of guys. Caleb Douglas has some interesting tape, and Chris Bell has a lot of, I'm not going to say AJ Brown, because AJ Brown's like an outlier for his type of profile, but like just that size, speed, could be schemed up, big play guy. So that's kind of interesting as well, potentially.
Yeah, I like that. If we would have gone, if I didn't screw up with the fingers and we would have gotten Bucky, then we probably go in Baker here, assuming this draft falls exactly like it is, which I never want to assume that it does, because everybody changes their calculus when you change yours. So,
right.
But all else being equal, then you're probably going like Godwin, Bucky, Baker stack. That's kind of cool.
For sure.
Stroud gets pulled up in this one, so he goes kind of early.
This Gadsden fall is amazing to me. I also like Rachaad White.
Yeah, I like the Rachaad White.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think White goes. So
that's I think we scooped the Gadsden. I view him as like a straight up. I think he's live to straight up outproduce Tyler Warren, Harold Fannin. Just seeing what we've seen from Mike McDaniel, his utilization. If he could turn a Jonnu Smith into the tight end 6 on the season, if he can get Darren Waller 17-point game, he turns guys who are nobodies into 17-point guys. So I think Gadsden, who had a sick breakout for a month before Joe Alt went down, then the whole offense cratered. They needed more blocking tight ends because they didn't have their 2 stud tackles. I think you're going to get Gadsden schemed up into space, and he's going to be a huge red zone threat, big body red zone threat. That's what McDaniel likes doing in the red zone.
Yeah, I like it. I'm with you on that. And when he falls like this, that's when I like to. That's generally when I'll get him, or if I've got like a Herbert stack cooking. But
because this is also such a bad range for running backs. Like once Rachaad White goes, it's like a lot of these guys I feel like I could get running backs 60 picks later that do about the same thing.
That's exactly how I feel.
Whereas like, man, we can just get a lot of points here at tight end receiver. How do you feel about what pick is this? Like 130 something?
Yeah, I'd be Rashid Shaheed here personally, just because for the spike.
I'd be Shaheed. I would also be totally fine pulling up Diggs. I think now that he beat the case, 52% route share for Diggs last year and still had 1,000 yards. I think he's going to go up to pick 90. That would be my.
Diggs. We have a little bit of a pairing with Seattle, but that's not like a must-have kind of thing. Can consolidate a little, but yeah, Diggs for me is.
When I saw he had 52% of the routes last year and still had 1,000 yards coming off the ACL, top 10 in yards per route run, I'm like, hold up, this dude is like still pretty elite. That's like elite.
Oh, for sure.
And so if he goes somewhere, sure, he could like regress a little with age, but like feels Devontae Adams-y, like he can still ball out. The efficiency was there. Patriots just had the lead a lot, ran a lot. We're, kind of easing him in off the ACL. He could go somewhere and get like 75, 80% routes. And then it's like, could you get 1,000, 1,100 yards here? I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. For sure. All right, let's look down a little bit just to see what might pair well with this team. I mean, we have Monty, so Marks doesn't really make a ton of sense. Seattle, I mean, Charbonnet. I don't know if these running backs really make sense right here. It feels more like a wide receiver range for us. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Boston a lot. I don't know how you feel about Boston.
I like Boston. I like Omar. I like Jawan. I think this is a sick wide receiver range, honestly. And then with our second pick, we could go Jawan. Like take one of these guys and push Jawan because there's tight ends ahead of him.
Yeah.
If you think it's doable.
I mean, I think that's probably the smartest thing to do because we don't need Jawan anymore. So it's like, I mean, he's cool for the stack if we want it, but I feel like it would be wise of us to take advantage of one of these 3. I mean, even Travis Hunter, to some extent. So,
yeah. See, assuming a bunch of these tight ends don't rip right here, Yeah. Yeah, I'd be down. Do you have a favorite of that cohort of Boston, Jennings, Hunter? I'm down for.
I mean, I'd probably
any of those.
Be Boston just for the rookie. Get a rookie in this room. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down.
Jawan, I mean, he's fine, but he still hasn't signed. I heard some smoke around Minnesota, but it's like we kind of know what Boston's situation is. I know the quarterback situation's up in the air, but he's one of those red zone guys, big body.
Jawan's fine, but like he could totally end up going to a subpar situation. Whereas like Stephon Diggs is like a legit Hall of Famer. So I am not going to like I know people are like, oh, Diggs, Jennings. I'm like, no, this is not the same thing. This has never been the same thing if they're healthy.
Right.
Yeah, Jawan could be interesting. Like you said, we have Kraft and Gadsden. That's pretty sick. I would be happy with like any of the guys we have queued up, honestly.
Same.
Trey Tucker was interesting. That would have been really cool.
Who Hames? He's streaming. I don't know. He said, not on my stream.
Not on my stream. And again, these running backs are like the same as guys like who go later. So I'm totally fine passing. Like I have no interest in the well, especially on this team with Price.
If we wanted a stack, we could go Tesla if like Travis is gone. I don't know how you feel about that. That would be like a double with a guy that's not mobile. But I mean, I don't know. Let's go Juwan. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go Juwan and just have an awesome tight end room that we didn't even have to pay up an elite price for.
I like that. Yeah, that room's solidified. I don't think we're going anymore there. We get the double with Shuck, which we talked about when we took Shuck. So that, we kind of built right into that like we were planning. We've got 6 here. I guess let me recap the team real quick for the audience. So we're sitting on a 2-3-6-3 build. We have Goff stacked up with St. Brown, and then we have a double of Shuck with Olave and Juwan Johnson. Running backs, Achane, Monty, and Jadarian Price. Wide receivers, St. Brown, Olave, Adams, Godwin, Diggs, and rookie Denzel Boston. And then this elite tight end room with Kraft, Gadsden, and Juwan Johnson. I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I really like this team, man. I think this is I would be a fan of getting a third quarterback here, whether they stack or not, just to get the raw points, because tight end is sick. Our top receivers are sick. We have an elite running back, a couple other guys who project for great volume. So whether it's Brissett, Geno, Rodgers, just like the raw points push us through and our stacks carry us when it matters most.
I would probably be Rodgers personally out of those 3 that you named, because the other guys, they've got or Geno, I guess. Brissett's kind of got some issues. If you think those are just gonna like all sort of settle themselves, I'm cool with that. Do you want to go running back too in this range, or are we still like another kind of round down before you kind of like?
I think we can show a bit. Yeah, Emmanuel.
I like a single here if we were gonna go, or get the faller on Charbonnet. Well, we don't want Charbonnet because we have Price, but
right.
So what are you feeling? Just tell me what, like, this is your draft. What are you clicking?
If it were me, I would go Jacoby Brissett. Might sound crazy, but for the reason that, so today there was a report that he's going to report they're going to give him a pay bump, and they told him he was the starter for the season. Last year, I think he had like 6 20-plus point games, and he only played 12. Like just as like a pure advance rate, even if he got benched in week 15, which I think Carson Beck's going to get into camp and he's got a noodle arm now, and they're going to be like, oh, we can't play this guy. Just advancing this team out of the 2 out of 12 pod. I like he could hit our lineup 7 times. And that would be nice. Whereas like, I like Singleton, but I also like, Vidal, I like Sean Tucker, I like Braylon Allen, I like Emmanuel Wilson, maybe not as much on this team. Kamara stacks.
I like Kamara here, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. Makes sense. I think he's being a little, I wasn't into him like too much pre-draft, but like he's being a little disrespected. He went on like a stream this week.
Right, I saw that, and that's kind of why I'm like,
yeah, he's like, I'm playing. So
I'm gonna go ahead and grab him here. I think he makes a lot of sense for this team.
Yeah, he could just PPR scam and get a couple goal line touches too.
Yeah, and another guy that's like super cheap that it'd be kind of like this dirty, late stack, but he could also get traded would be like a James Conner, because he's being super disrespected too. Now with Love, it's like he's free. You get him in the 18th round. And I mean, James Conner, he can still ball, dude. You know what I mean? And even if they cut him, who's not going to pick up James Conner? Like, even if he's a rotational guy. So, and if he stays, he could be more involved on third down while Love kind of gets his wings in like pass protection and stuff like that. So, I could easily see him being like the third down back, because it's not going to be Benson. You know what I mean? Like, he's not nearly as good in the passing game as Conner. So. Third down and otherwise.
You want to hear a crazy stat, by the way, on Jacoby Brissett that I just found? He
Yeah,
finished as a QB1 every week from week 6 through week 15, according to Fantasy Pros.
Yeah, he's got a nice high floor. It's a nice floor. He's not going to give you. I don't think we can count on him for that like upside spike week, but like to just hit the lineup when those other guys dud out and give us like that nice 18-point floor. Like he's going to be very useful in that respect.
Yeah, he went.
There's Chris Bell here. If you were talking about kind of the Miami guys, if he, he's their #1 draft pick, he would be kind of interesting here.
Is there anything at running back, or is it kind of chilling for now?
It's kind of chill. There's Vidal if we wanted to get like a piece of.
I would be down to do Vidal.
Why was I thinking Vidal? Oh, because I was thinking, we could kind of consolidate a little bit there.
That would be interesting to me. He's been training with Raheem Mostert, which is a pretty, last time Raheem Mostert was in a functioning Mike McDaniel offense, he was a pretty valuable goal line back. I could see them not wanting to load up Hampton, after breaking his ankle. Mike McDaniel's always, even if he's had a workhorse, has had a second guy, assuming the offense is good, that can play.
Connor goes, so that little dirty back stack's off the table.
I think Bell might be pushable, but there's like no running backs after Vidal. I would, if you're into him, I would lean that way. Vidal and try to push Bell, because I'm also totally fine with Douglas or any other.
I think that's the way to play it for sure. We need our last. I think this definitely calls for one more running back in this on this build.
Yeah.
And then classic we get our 7th wide receiver, and I think we're good because we kind of treated this as like an extension of wide receivers hitting the flex in a way is kind of how I see it. So you can kind of end at 7 here.
Yeah, and with like Amon-Ra,
right, as your anchor
in the playoffs, probably 2 to 3 times. Olave probably 2 times. Adams probably a big
Trey might fall to us. That'd be kind of wild, like all the way down here. That would be cool. I like Troy Franklin too. If we want some like divisional, he's a spiker. He's a stud to me in terms of just being a spiker type guy.
Trey Harris is really interesting.
He goes.
Would I be able to talk you into the disgusting click of Caleb Douglas?
Where's Caleb Douglas? I have to go find him.
Miami. He is currently Mike Clay's projected wide receiver 1 on the depth chart. Sure. And if this offense is good, then he might be the wide receiver 1. I was not aware of his existence pre-draft. Then I'm watching the tape. I'm like, I actually kind of like what I see a lot. And he's like a good low-owned. It's not every day you get
low ownership. This is perfect low ownership click at the end. Pairs well with Achane. Get a little Miami going there.
All
right, let's recap the team for the audience, and they can tell us what they think in the chat. All right, so this is a puppy. We ended up going 3-5-7-3. We have Goff, Shuck, and Brissett. Goff is stacked up with St. Brown. Shuck is stacked up with Olave and Juwan Johnson. Running backs, Achane, Monty on a misclick. Price, Kamara, and Vidal. Wide receiver, St. Brown, Olave, Adams, Godwin, Diggs. Rookie, Denzel Boston. And is he a rookie? Caleb Douglas? Rookie, yep. Caleb Douglas. Okay.
Round 3 pick.
Round 3? Sweet. And then a monster tight end room here. Tucker Kraft, Aronde Gadsden, and Juwan Johnson. Let us know what you think.
I think we're getting 21 plus points every week at quarterback. Tight end, I always feel good about getting probably 14 plus, ping-ponging those guys. We have the firepower at receiver, some late season rookies, and then 3 running backs that are going to get a ton of volume, plus a couple other guys who can find the ends. Honestly, I love this team. This is like kind of the ideal if you're going to 3-5-7-3 for me.
Yeah, I think we did a good job. We recovered from the Bucky Monty saga, and
Monty's so cool, man. That he could. What's stopping him from being Kyron Williams for them?
Oh yeah, and I think on this team actually he adds like a nice it's good texture in that room because there's a lot of other like spiky guys. So I think he provides a nice floor
Yep.
I think he's going to project pretty well this year in terms of his volume. I mean, Woody Marks is great, I think, as like a change of pace back, receiving back, but I don't think he's any threat because he's not a consolidator. I mean, he did it like one time last year in a pinch, but he's not going to be a guy that can do that like week in, week out.
And it's nice that they did not add a Jonah Coleman type, Denver goes out, they bring back Dobbins after trying to get Monty, but they also bring in Jonah Coleman. A guy like RJ Harvey really concerns me at his price with all those mouths to feed. The fact that Sean Payton said like the running game died when Dobbins went out. I was like, oh, okay. It's not very reassuring that RJ Harvey.
His metrics weren't good. His advanced analytics were very poor.
They were very poor. And yet he looks good in the pass game. When you get him going in space, he has some juice, but his vision was not good. And I thought his like ability to fight and break tackles, like when he got hit, he would go down, man. I was like, oh, can you like break one tackle, please? He didn't. I thought he was. I really liked him coming out. He was my most drafted player last year pre-draft because I was, like this guy's shit. He can make you miss in a phone booth. But he didn't really show a lot of that last year, so maybe he improves on that. But
bad vision for sure. He always wants to bounce it outside and then can't do what he did in college, in the Big 12. These are not the same defenders. So it's just like converted from a quarterback, drafted in the second round at 24 years old when like there's been like 5 dudes in like all of the NFL that are 24 years old that have been drafted in the second round. There are just so many red flags that, he was overdrafted and he wasn't going to be able to kind of live up to that capital. But I mean, he is twitchy and maybe he gets you there in like a best ball setting. If he falls, into like the 90s, I'll click him here and there. But
and to compare him to Woody Marks, though, it's like, it feels like he's not going to be that lead back. His role feels like it's going to be kind of Woody Marksy. It's like, okay, a lot of passing, a couple carries. But Jonah Coleman, it's like, there's not even a Jonah Coleman in Houston. So it's like, it really is all Monty and Woody capturing probably 98% of that backfield.
Right. And I got to say, it's got to be like 65% probably for Monty. You know what I mean? In terms of the rush volume. Has to be, right?
Really
I don't see it any other way. I could be wrong.
And he is like the goal line back. Like, I don't think anyone else is coming in to vulture him. Even if like Woody ran the ball from like the 30 down to the 2, like 8 times out of 10, they're like, actually, we're just going to sub you out. We want Montgomery to punch it in. So he feels like he could have a mix-in year from 2 years ago, which was like a really good season, points per game when he wasn't hurt. So,
right. 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns wouldn't surprise me. Honestly.
I would take that.
Yeah, me too.
300 receiving,
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, let me go ahead and give just a quick word out to our sponsors. Appreciate you guys joining. If you guys want to follow us on YouTube, you can find us at Fantasy Fitness IO, or you can find us on X at Fantasy Fit IO. Sus has a YouTube channel as well. So search Sus Edwards. He's the only Sus Edwards out there. You'll find his channel. Give him a follow, subscribe. You're going to be streaming all summer long as well, right? Off and on.
Yes, sir. Doing a lot of drafters. Going to be in there. Got to get you on, 0 on, all the guys. So always a fun time. Looking forward to more streaming.
Heck yeah. It's going to be a good summer. I can already tell. I did my first BBM and I got the 101 and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good year.
This experience, it's unique to me. This is my year. That feels good though. That feels good. Now, do you have any other fun summer plans lined up? Maybe nothing too crazy, even if it's just locally things you like to do in your area, any summer hobbies, or what are you looking forward to besides our drafting season?
Yeah, getting away from it. It's here in Colorado, like to do hikes up in Boulder and kind of around just like the foothills, like the Denver metro area along the foothills. There's a whole bunch of good hikes. So I'll be doing that with my wife and kids and friends, and then we might take a trip out to Pennsylvania to do visit some family at like a lake house up in the Poconos. That would be for like a week or two. We would stay at like a cabin, and there's some ponds. You get to go out there and paddle board, kayak, fish off the docks, and it's just super chill. It's like you come home, you watch like game shows with your family, eat ice cream, play some board games and go to bed, and you do that for like a week straight and then head home. But it's like it's a blast,
The Poconos are underrated. I grew up in Philly, in the Philly suburbs, so I'm familiar with the area.
Yeah, I love the Poconos.
Did you grow up on the East Coast, or have you been a Denver guy?
Yeah, I'm from Denver, but my parents were from Brooklyn and New Jersey, so they're like,
nice.
My dad's like a Giants fan and a Dodgers fan because it was like the Brooklyn Dodgers, and then once they moved out to LA, he stayed a Dodgers fan. So I kind of grew up a Dodgers fan, but then we got the Rockies when I was like 8 or 9, 10 maybe.
Nice.
So it was, became a Rockies fan, but it's tough. It's tough to be a Rockies fan.
These days, it seems not the best.
Yeah.
A lot of home runs, though. Entertaining.
Oh, yeah. Fun stadium.
Did you want to mix it up or just kind of take the locked-in value, build another solid Amon-Ra team, maybe do it a different way? Or what do you like? CeeDee Lamb?
I would be CD, or if you wanted to go like running back, I think you kind of force yourself into that if we wanted to go like Genty or something, but I'd probably be like CD or Genty. What do you like?
Let's do CD, and we'll probably get a running back that we like.
Yeah, I think he's a good anchor because he's a target hog. So I like building like when you get like a St. Brown or a CD or a Chase, it's like kind of make them an anchor, and then you can do get creative with your builds, in those like middle rounds. So it's kind of fun.
Exactly.
But I agree. We got to get a running back here. Otherwise you kind of really put yourself in a pickle later on at that 3-4 turn.
No doubt about it. Saquon would be awesome. All these kind of guys I mix and match, but Saquon would be preferred, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at on Walker versus Hampton? I'm also down for Derrick Henry, Chase Brown.
Yeah, I would be probably Henry here, but I can click any one of them if you have one that you want, or Brown. Like you decide.
Let's go youth with Chase Brown.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
I love Derrick Henry, but Chase Brown finished the year pretty strong too. A couple weeks in a row. He sure finished strong. The pass, and he was game script, proof. He was catching touchdowns. He was rushing with the lead, so he was doing it all. And I think he might be just straight up a better pick than Kenneth Walker potentially.
Because I really reasonable.
I would like to see Kenneth Walker have a full season of 300 touches being healthy. Just feels like a little bit of a durability risk.
For sure. And Emmett Johnson's an interesting prospect who's going to be playing back there with him. I mean, he doesn't grade out well in like the metrics and stuff, kind of slow, but I don't know. I still kind of like his game. I think he could definitely mix in and affect Walker's volume a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to like diminish his value out of like the second round, but I definitely think it could be more volatile, and there could just be games where Emmett Johnson's like the hot hand or something like that.
Totally. I think they
said that jump. What's his name? What's the other running back back there?
DeMarcado.
I think he's going to deal with DeMarcado pretty easily. And the other smaller
Smith.
guy that they got last year from SMU. I think.
Rashard Smith, I was into last year. He just doesn't have it. He's just not special in any way, especially as a rusher. He just does not have it, I fear.
Yeah. I think you're right. He's just too small. It's way too small.
Little guy.
You kind of give away your hand when he goes on the field, right? It's like
exactly
not running. He's not pass protecting. It's like
right
going out on a route.
Exactly. You don't want to have the predictability. You don't want to be predictable. ETN would be cool if he fell. I'm also down to mix it up at receiver if we wanted to have a different build. I know you like Brees Hall. I'd be down for that if you are into him. And
I'd be cool with Brees Hall. I'd be cool with Javonte or Kyron if we wanted to get a running back here.
Nice.
But I like Tet too. Like,
you want to do Kyron?
Yeah, let's do Kyron. I think
get some. We've gotten equity now and some really good offenses. You know, Chase Brown.
I don't want to be like hero Chase Brown here. That feels pretty. Like, as much as I like him for his explosiveness, like when I think of like, you know, him sort of floating out there on an island for a few rounds, right, it gets a little sketchy.
It does.
So Kyron feels like a nice floor to kind of pair with him.
Yeah. 1,500 yards in the bank, you know, between the rushing and receiving. Bunch of touchdowns. Not going to... I've overthought him in recent years. Not going to overthink him this year.
Yep, I'm with you. I heard an interesting comp from like a running backs coach for him. He said that he's work done mixed with some Emmitt Smith. Like vision and footwork.
Kyron?
Yeah. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, I know he's not like saying he's like, you know, everybody needs to contextualize what
you thoughtful comp.
Yeah, I actually thought that was like elite vision, elite footwork, you know, not the fastest guy, you know, but he can be involved in the passing game, and he great on pass pro.
For sure. I'm guessing you were going to be a fan of Zay here. I could go with that.
I would love Zay here, but he's gone. I like, what do you like?
How about we go Ladd McConkey?
Okay.
I'm a big Ladd guy. I was out last year, but I had 26% his rookie year. And I think he fits very well within. I'm just a big fan of the Mike McDaniel offense when you have good offensive line and quarterback play. When it's like, okay, he can almost play Madden back there and just point and click and get the ball where it needs to go to a guy in space. And I think McConkey is their best route runner, you know, yak guy who gets going in space. And one of my hotter takes is I really think McConkey could have like 1,400 yards this year.
Okay, I like it. I don't have a strong case against that, you know, a good argument against it. So, you know, I like the bet here. Amik is interesting too, because I'm like, is he the 2? Is he the like? Because like him and Ladd next to each other, right? And it's like, what's the better click here, and who's sort of primed to get more yards, get more targets? Both young guys, right? Second year guy, third year guy. So interesting, those two.
Yeah, they could both have great years. It's just such a fun receiver pocket. I guess I break the tie to Ladd personally, just because I not worry, but just I think the target competition of Godwin and McMillan is kind of strong relative to QJ and
Ted Hurst. Don't forget about my boy Ted Hurst.
Ted Hurst could rotate in. Honestly, Ted is going to sound crazy. I don't think he's going to play a ton, but like Tez Johnson had good chemistry with Baker. Like Baker liked throwing to that guy.
Right.
And then, you know, they check down a lot too. So I like Igbuka, but in terms of like the legendary upside path, if everyone's healthy, I like the McConkey by a hair.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's sharp. Now, what do you like here? We're 3 picks away. Do you want to go?
Watt. It feels like a good receiver range. Waddle, Moore, Rome. Rome is growing on me a lot, as like he was having a 6 start to last year, and then he broke his foot. But like, I've had a stress fracture. I had to miss 6 weeks of his soccer season on it. It's not fun. I got to be a little sympathetic to my guys. So if Rome is here, that would be cool. But also DJ Moore. Last time we saw DJ Moore in a Joe Brady offense, he was just printing 1,100 to 1,300 yards. So now he gets Josh Allen to catch balls from instead of Kyle, and he goes. Christian.
What about Tate? Do you like Tate? I like Tate.
Tate's cool. I like Tate.
Grab some Tate.
Yeah, either one of those guys. Yeah, Tate, higher draft capital, not a crazy injury risk like Watson. I'm down to hammer that in.
Yeah, I don't see it like talking about like competition on his team. Like, who's gonna, steal from him. I think he's
a good guy to stack as well later if we want that cheaper third quarterback.
For sure. I like that. Opens up that Ward stack, and we'd also be in the range too to get like Pollard. So you get like Pollard and Tate, and then you get to double that up with some Ward. That feels a little nice now that he survived the draft. If he's back there in the next round, Watson falling here would be interesting.
Or
do you like? What do you like?
Would I be able to talk you into Bashal Tootin?
Yeah, let's do it.
Structurally, sounds good. I am not buying the John Shipley, Chris Rodriguez is going to lead this team in carries narrative. Last year he said Tank Bigsby would lead that team in carries for whatever it's worth. So just a Liam Cohen offense, whether it's Bucky Irving, whether it's ETN, he wants a 3 down back. You need to have that pass catching profile to be the lead back. That's just how it goes. And so I think Tootin is going to not have the year ETN had, but I think he's going to have something pretty close to it in most simulations. So I am into it here. Pick 50 was a little rich.
Oh yeah. This is much more reasonable for me. And you get a little slide on him past his ADP. This is where I'm clicking him.
Yeah. And we're set up pretty nicely at the next turn to maybe get a stacked up quarterback or two in a range of the draft that loses a little bit of value. You can go Dak, you can go Herbert, you can go both. So, and then come back at 105, 112 and get some good receivers and running backs that fall sometimes there. So,
and with the way this board fell, I was gonna say maybe you could push Dak to like 88 if you wanted to, just play that game.
Right. He can fall if that team pushes him.
I mean, you got a back stack. If you want to stack him with Javonte and that guy's to our right, that's fine. That would make, I guess, some sense. Yeah. But otherwise, it's like he's probably coming back to us unless that guy's intention is to go Javonte and get like a Ferguson or something like that and backstack him.
Right.
With like a Ferg. Pollard, though, at this price is interesting. I know that would be pretty heavy running back early, but then you could probably stop at you definitely would stop at 5.
I'm not against it. Did Herbert go, just out of curiosity for where we sit?
No, Herbert's still there. So yeah, we can pull up Herbert.
Yeah. I would say if there's like a guy who falls here that we really like at receiver, maybe Pollard. I was going to say Pierce and Lemon would be sick if they fell. Sometimes they do. But other than that, I would probably, if Lemon's there, I would do it. Otherwise, I would probably pull up Herbert because I don't think we have another Chargers guy behind us at the moment.
I almost feel like if we just do it regardless, if Lemon's there. I don't know. I mean, Lemon's a faller, but what are we going to do if we don't take Herbert here? What's our stacks? What are you envisioning? I feel like we get ourselves into a little bit of a pickle if we take the faller and don't take Herbert. But I'm okay doing it if you have something in mind. Well, Lemon goes.
Okay. That choice is made for us. I don't have to lose sleep at night over making the wrong decision. Let's lock up Herbert, who, another one of my hotter takes, I think he might be QB3 this year behind Josh and Lamar. Just Mike McDaniel offense, weapons, best offensive line he's had in his career. They replaced the guards in the center. Just kind of all shaping up for like a career, like the classic career year, or at least going back to what he was his first couple of years of like 4,500 yards and a ton of touchdowns.
Yeah, I can see it. That'd be awesome. And get our first part of the stat, or we get the stat going, and then there's Big Q. There's, Trey later. There's Gadsden. So
yeah,
all sorts of ways to backstack him. Yeah.
A couple running backs if it fell.
Right.
I'm a big Jaden Reed guy. Are you a big Jaden Reed guy?
Oh, yeah.
Medium Jaden Reed guy?
I like Jaden Reed a lot for sure.
He would be pretty sick.
I would like Reed here. Yeah, if Reed's not here, I guess Michael Wilson. He's there. I also like Rico a lot just because of his spike week upside, but Reed's here. We just take Reed.
Yeah, let's do.
That also, I guess that could open up like a love stack too, because you could go love, Reed, and then get golden too, and you get yourself a double. So that
Yep.
It's always nice getting one of the Green Bay guys because there's so many ways you can get into like that love stack and just get one of those second tier quarterbacks, I guess you could say, after like the elites with the rushing upside. It's kind of in that next tier down.
It's nice that they've kind of consolidated the room a little bit at receiver, trim Wicks, get Dobbs out of there.
It makes a ton of sense now.
Yeah. We don't have to worry about the 4 or 5 man rotations, I feel like. And they're also talking that the Packers might be a little more aggressive this year. They've had like a real tendency to take their foot off the gas, and like when they get like a 10-point lead, it's like, how about you just add to the lead? Have you considered that? So I like the idea that not only are we getting a consolidation of routes and like more routes for these guys, but it's also more aggressive. So it could just be a good breakout year for Packers overall.
Yeah.
Packers.
This guy took Kraft at 84. So he's kind of, he's like, oh, I'll sit here and suck up a faller on Love, right? Like, so if we wanted Love, we probably take him here. And then we take Love basically because he's not coming back to us. This guy hasn't even taken a quarterback yet. I'm sure that's something he's at least considering, right? At that spot to go Love.
Definitely. He probably thought he lined that up.
This guy could take Love to our left too with Watson. So
true.
He probably knows that he doesn't have a quarterback. I'd be surprised if Love gets
maybe he goes Goff.
That's true. He could go Goff, right? Like you, because we did that one on the last one. So he goes Goff. If we wanted, we could go Love and Herbert Love. Like that feels really strong, and you could almost stop. You could easily stop at 2.
No doubt. I would also say if Dart falls just as like an elite, a potentially elite rushing quarterback for uniqueness would be crazy. I don't think we're going to get Jackson Dart, but a boy can dream.
Yeah, no, if he's there, I'd say he's 100% the pick. If not, I would say we could go Goff if we like that stack. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The other thing I'd throw out is like if Pearsall's there, I have him ranked in at pick 60 personally. So I'm like, if he fell to 105 and Purdy's still there, like we might be able to just push a lot of this purple but land a potentially breakout receiver in a range where he has, in my opinion, no business going. Again, I don't think Pearsall's going to fall to us, but
this would be the latest, I think. Well, I'm sure he's probably gone in this range in other drafts, but yeah, I'd be cool with that. And then
I would be Pearsall, and we might lose Love, but I think the upside of getting a dude who last year in his 6 healthy games had 2 85-yard games, 2 100+ yard games. The dude is just he's kind of like the 49ers version of Luther Burden when he's healthy. Like he consolidates a lot of targets. He hasn't been the pinnacle of health, but when he's healthy, he's really good. And Mike Evans hasn't been the pinnacle of health either. Kittle's off an Achilles. There's a world where just the health comes together for Pearsall, and he cranks out a 1,200-yard season for us.
This guy will do a double right here. He's gonna go Love Golden, and
I could see
get that double stack.
I bet he wants, and by bet I mean I'm totally coping. Take Bo Nix, buddy. You want that juicy faller. You loved it. Okay. All good. I mean, I would be down for the Bo Nix fall, even though it doesn't really stack just on a raw points level. It gets to a point,
112 Bo Nix. Yeah, I mean, we don't even. It's divisional too, so that's fun.
And he's back stackable, with your Franklin or Brian or whatever you like.
Oh wow, he didn't take Golden. Okay.
If this guy doesn't take Nix,
does he have a reason to take Nix? He does have Dobbins, so don't know that that's the ideal pairing. But...
Inverse correlation. Come on, buddy, you don't want him. Dobbins doesn't catch passes. He's made that bet. Okay, he makes that bet. I was gonna throw out Concepcion or Worthy. Just
I like Concepcion.
Okay. Would you want to do him? Cool. Just because we in this simulation we say Reed is going off and Concepcion, they're both leading their teams.
Yeah, I like that.
And we can. I won't try to talk you into backstacking a quarterback there if you don't like either guy, but it is technically legal to do so.
For sure. Well, I think at this point we're probably looking at like a Cam Ward.
Yep.
With starting to make a lot of sense.
Definitely. Sorry if losing Love.
Oh no, I'm not worried about it at all. Like that's like when you get a faller on a wide receiver, you got to do it sometimes, you know? Like that's just how it goes. And we knew that going into it, right? We said that, like we looked at the board, we saw what the probabilities were, and you know, like we went through it. It was interesting that guy went with Purdy. I wonder what was he, Christian, I guess? No, he just went with Purdy.
I guess he just wanted the naked. Yeah, maybe he takes Kittle if he comes back or something. But
he should have taken Pearsall because then everybody else is sort of inclined not to take Purdy, right. And then he gets like a 112 Purdy price.
He tries to push it. Yeah,
that's how I'm approaching that problem. But
and the receiver, yeah. The Pearsall profile, man, it is a real fun. I mean, Gadsden, maybe we get lucky again.
Yeah, I think at that point we're going to take Gadsden as another faller. Yeah. And then I'll change the thumbnail from Chris Godwin to Gadsden for this one because we've taken him in both drafts.
Love it. Yeah, man, he was having that sick breakout. I'll pull up what the game logs were in the month before. Like the exact week Joe Alt went out is the week people are like, man, Gadsden fell off. It's like, well, no, they had to completely change what they were doing to keep Justin Herbert upright, and even then it wasn't working because the offensive line was too cooked. But he had 7 for 68, 7 for 164 and a touchdown, 5 for 77 and a touchdown, and then 5 for 68. Pretty good for the second month of a day 3 rookie's career. Balls.
He goes. I'd probably be Mason here.
Yeah, personally. I'm with you. I love the running back projectability. I mean, if he got 750 and 6 with JJ McCarthy unable to sustain drives, what's he going to do with Kyler, like 1,008?
Seems very reasonable. And I mean, there's a definite tier break. If you don't take him or Rachaad White or C-Rod, and I'm a little higher on C-Rod than you, but in this case, we wouldn't have even approached that pick. But I'm just saying those 3 guys, and throw Tyrone Tracy in there too. Like once those guys are kind of off the board, it's kind of like, ooh, like we got to wait. Like you were saying in the last draft, we got to wait like, 2 turns here before we're back into some like juicy RBs.
It becomes no man's land. And then a lot of the running backs that go after them have like terrible roles, but you have to rank them in some order. And people sometimes just feel the need for running back, but it's like 150s, that is like tight end and wide receiver heaven to me. So Cam Ward for the stack would make sense, I think.
Cam Ward.
That would be.
Stack up Tate. That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be very nice. This guy better. He has. Oh, Chad Candles. You do not want a 4th quarterback.
That seems suboptimal, but we'll see what he does.
Nice.
I mean, you could technically stop here at 2, in my opinion. It's like kind of on that edge, but with, if you lean into Herbert being the QB3, like you're saying, and that's the story you're going to tell yourself in this particular draft, you don't need a 3rd, right? If you're basically saying he's an MVP candidate, right? And that's how you want to approach this individual draft, right? And that's the story you're going to tell, then Cam Ward's probably enough. Like we could always lean into a 3rd or not lean into it, but get a 3rd for insurance purposes. But to me, it's got to be somebody cheap, right? It would be like, and I would prefer someone fresher, like a Fernando Mendoza who could come on strong at the end. Like let's say you get Trey Tucker and Mendoza, and then throw in like a Michael Mayer and do like this dirty like backstat. I don't even know if that's dirty because it's got Trey Tucker, but you know what I'm saying? Like a late backstack, Mendoza, Tucker, Mayer. Like that sounds kind of fun.
Could do that. Could take the guy that Casey Concepcion has already come out and endorsed that had a 38-point spike last year. And
hell yeah. I'll take him in the 150s. I don't give a shit. No.
Yeah,
I would, dude. I would literally, I would take Trey Tucker right here at 153, like no questions asked.
Oh, I meant Shador, but
oh,
Trey Tucker also had a point spike. So.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you said 38-point spike week, like that. That's Trey Tucker.
That's Trey Tucker. And
actually, he had a 40-point spike week. If we're gonna be like precise about it.
Yeah,
depends on which platform. I'm using sleeper numbers, but
yeah, no, Trey Tucker he could be a 7th receiver on this build. I would say tight end is becoming a priority.
For sure.
Brenton Strange, Chig.
We could probably push tight end though, maybe because these guys are 2s and 1s. Like, I mean, they might lean into something else. I think
that's true.
I would probably go Tucker because there's a handful to pick from that all kind of fit our build. Like Hawk makes sense here. I mean, all these guys. So
do you want to
trade Tucker here?
Do you want to do Tucker and see what falls back at tight end? Just take one on the way back. All right.
And then in the next round, it's like we could potentially get that Mendoza. You know, he's in the 165, so he'd have to fall a little bit. But I mean,
I will be honest, I'm very worried about Fernando Mendoza's. This might be not as a player, but like his starts this year. Tom Brady, Spytek, Kubiak have all been like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool if he didn't play this year and he got to learn behind Kirk Cousins. I'm like, okay, I guess, bro. Like, I've never heard the front office GM and coach be so in lockstep about him sitting and learning. And he did have a lot of like he has the body, he has the mind, he has the leadership, he has some arm talent, but like some of his fundamentals in like against pressure were like really bad in college. And I do think he's a little more raw than people think.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's going to start. There's no way he's going to start. I'm thinking of like week 17, 15, 16, 17. Like, could he be getting in the back half of the year? He's literally the 101. I mean, when's the last time a 101 sat an entire year? I don't even know if I can think of the last time a 101 sat the whole year. So I think in that respect, he's going to get on. But
it's pretty rare. But what I will say is Kirk Cousins said, I'm not going anywhere unless I'm the starter or I'll retire at this point.
Oh, and he will start, but if they're like 6 and 10, like he's getting benched. What do you like here? I would probably be go ahead.
I would say Strange. Oh darn. I'm down to run back Jawan. I think he's just criminally underpriced. 800 something yards.
Jawan, Hawk is fine, but yeah, Jawan feels like the better value here for sure. Want to run it back with Jawan?
He's great. He has a lot of juice. A lot of juice in those legs. And a lot of people win a lot of tournaments with that guy. I'm a fan of it.
Yes, Sherman had him just for the aura.
It's but yeah, Mendoza, I like him as a player, but part of me is like, I know the 101 sitting all year is kind of unprecedented, but usually you don't have like usually the coach is more desperate or the GM is desperate, and it's actually like a fresh situation and they're all kind of like in lockstep. And then you have Kirk Cousins is a much better bet than you're usually competing with on 101. So I don't know. I'm probably just overreacting to the threat of the specter of Kirk Cousins, but whereas like, man, Shedeur Sanders, like,
what do you think of Nick Singleton on this team?
I'd be down. That'd be a fun.
I feel like he fits this room nicely. He catches passes. Like, that's actually his specialty.
Yeah.
I can see a world where he just steals Tajay Spears' chain.
Definitely. I think it's not probable, very likely, very live to be the case where, Pollard has the respect of the league and he's the one, but what is the coaching staff, what does Brian Daboll think of Tajay Spears? He's never really done anything. So I like that.
I'd be okay with these other guys coming after him, like Helm, or if we wanted like Stowers or Otten. I think you're more of a Stowers guy, right, than an Otten guy.
I was thinking maybe we do Singleton and then stack up Helm.
Yeah, we got ourselves a triple, and that's kind of fun.
On that offense. Yeah.
We could also come back in and get Trey, but we don't really. I mean, we're at 7. I mean, I'm okay getting an 8th, but we don't need one.
Trey is in. We're at 7. Okay.
Singleton here and see what comes back, wide receiver wise.
Yeah,
Trey's been
do it.
falling too, more so than Singleton, I think.
Yeah,
And
let's try to push Trey or Calvin Ridley. I was gonna say Calvin Ridley, but
yeah,
think
well, I'd be
Helm is
okay with that too. Maybe we get one of these two back, and then
I think based on what we've allocated to receiver, I would say Helm is more imperative for this team.
fair.
Just to shore ourselves up and not end up in Mike Gesicki, Michael Maryland, ideally.
What do you think of Schultz straight up over Gunnar Helm? I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying we do it.
That's potential. I think Helm is a very underrated. Like on any other team, I'd probably be Schultz, but I do think there is some sneaky spike ability with Helm, where I like the correlation. Could this look silly in a couple months potentially? But he avoided the draft. They sent Chig packing, even though they had all the money in the world to keep him. He was breaking out late last year. I would say we roll with Gunnar Helm.
Let's go with the Gooner. All right, and then I think we're gonna obviously want one more tight end, and then we can kind of decide what we want to do with that. I mean, this is going to be a 2 quarterback build at this point, right? And I feel good about it with kind of the way we stacked it up.
I think we could tack on what if you're into it. If I could talk you into it, I'll lay out the case. One, Mr. Shadur Sanders, Mr. 38-point spike. I think Deshaun Watson. I have not seen that man throw a good football in 6 years. Last time he started in 2024, he didn't have a game over 200 yards. He had no zip, like the least velocity by far in the league. I think they're trying to do like any Todd Monken. No one in that building has said Deshaun's the starter. The only person who said that is Mary Kay Cabot, who is like a total hater.
My pushback would be like we get a little tiny stack, like this kind of skinny stack with Concepcion, which is interesting, but what about just Rodgers like straight up? Like we know he's going to be.
I didn't see Rodgers there. I would do Rodgers over Shadur if that is there. Yeah, I would say we go 3,
and we
5,
could
7,
get.
3.
Oh no, he's not there. I was going to say Rodgers and Freiermuth, but Freiermuth is gone. But that's okay. I'd still take a naked Rodgers over like a Shadur.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Take the starts. Don't even get too cute with it. Is there at tight end? My most drafted player is still on the board. Mr. 18. Not quite.
Oh,
are you a T Ferg guy? Mr. Hype video out here catching passes today from Stafford, looking svelte.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm totally down. You want to grab T Ferg here?
I would grab T Ferg. He is my most drafted player, pre-post, all of it. Shaping up to be very invested in turns.
Max Clare isn't giving you any concerns?
He's giving me concern for the Tyler Higbees and Davis Allens, but I think Ferguson's kind of like their de facto receiver 3. Power slot. By far he averaged 21 yards per reception. He was running like real deep routes. And so I think he's kind of like a power slot. Kind of does a lot of the things Kyle Pitts does, honestly. So I'm a fan of that.
All right, so we got our 3 tight ends. We probably are going to stop here at 7 at the wide receiver position. Maybe not. I mean, we could add one, or we add a running back, or we add Shadur.
I would be Shadur or Tua, just to get, I've had too many teams.
Or actually, like Tua is going to be the starter, right? Like that seems pretty.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's do Tua if you want to get that other one. Otherwise, I would be like Wicks or Mitchell or something. Franklin.
Yeah, Tua just for the starts. We don't have to stack up Concepcion. It is not imperative to do so, and I think Tua is going to start basically the whole season, if not the whole season.
And we get a little, we could have like a bring back Jawan. I mean, he's naked, but whatever. If like it came down to it, there's like a little 1v1 there. Could show itself in a game.
Because when I think about like when I get down to it, and I'm like, okay, it is week 15, and I'm looking at this team. I'm like, okay, Chase Brown, Kyron, Tootin, and Mason. If you have 3 or 4 running backs that get a ton of value. Sub-Zero, how's it going?
Yeah.
If you have a 4 running backs with like a real role, you're feeling awesome. And then we've got a ton of receiver investment. CD, Monkey, tight end, we got there by the end. I think we got 3 great values. I've had so many teams die in like week 16 and week 17 where I'm like, oh, I just wish like one of my quarterbacks is out and the other guy gets like 8 points. I'm like, dude, if I just had like another crack at like 19 points at quarterback, I would be alive. So I'm a 3 tight end advocate unless you get like Josh or Lamar.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. Let's review the team for the folks in the audience.
Nice.
We ended up with a 3-5-7-3 build. We have Justin Herbert stacked up with Ladd McConkey. We have a triple stack here with Cam Ward, Nicholas Singleton, Carnell Tate, and Gunnar Helm. And then we have the naked Tua for some insurance. Running backs, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Beshal Tootin, Jordan Mason, and Nicholas Singleton. Wide receivers, Lamb, McConkey, Tate, Jaden Reed, Ricky Pearsall, Casey Concepcion, and the one and only Trey Tucker. And then Jawan Johnson, Gunnar Helm, and T. Ferg at tight end. Let us know what you think in the chat.
I like this team a lot. Week 16 is 1 out of 6, so I'd lean 2 QB unless your first is Ward. I think you're really underrating, respectfully, how much you want that third quarterback. All the data from Hayden Wings, Meg Shope, you can go 2 QB, but man, bye weeks happen, injuries happen. Every year it feels like we lose like 15 to 20 of these guys for at least 1 week. And it's just such a high scoring position that like if I'm staring down the barrel of like a running back who's going to have 1 usable week versus just that, all the guys that matter the most for this team, we took in the first 8 rounds anyway. So I'm like, just get me there, get my unique combo of studs there and see what happens.
All right. Well, everybody has, different opinions about how we build. That's why that's what makes a market, and that's what makes this fun. So,
no doubt, Zero and I love going back and forth with the game.
Oh yeah,
iron sharpens iron. It's what it's all about.
And the Tua over Shedeur, we did get some love for that. So
yeah.
Well, this has been fun. Any last minute comments here for either of these builds or anything you wanted to discuss?
No, just if you're watching, drop a like on the video, help it in the algorithm. Check out Fantasy Fitness and check me out on YouTube, Sus Edwards. And yeah, always a blast. Feel like we went 2 for 2 here structurally. Picks wise, I think we landed 2 names. Not always a guarantee, in these streets, but I think we got what we wanted.
I agree. I think these are 2 solid builds, and hopefully we get 1 into the finals. 1 out of 2, or 2 out of 2. That'd be great, but 1 out of 2, and let's see what happens. Right? Let's go chase that 100,000.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, appreciate you guys all being here. Like Sus said, you can find us on YouTube at Fantasy Fitness IO or search Sus Edwards and you'll find his channel. We'll both be streaming all summer long, along with other guests, BBM, time box tournaments, you name it, we're doing it. Find us on X at Fantasy Fit IO. And then do you know your X handle?
Sus Edwards FF.
Sus Edwards FF. So give us a like and a follow if you guys enjoy the content. Appreciate you all being here. Until next time, peace.
Peace.